a Dupuis hit. Dupuis throwing and going down on his attempted hit. Boone standing well.
I believe that's Jonathan Andrews having words with the goaltender Matthew Chouinard there of Shawinigan. Jonathan Boone on a mission on this shift. He's got some speed going. He's going to meet up with one of the smaller forwards here from Shawinigan, but he braces himself, and down goes heavily. I believe it was Pascal Dupuis. He's not that small. That guy's 6 feet, 200 pounds. Boone, a strong kid from Newfoundland, and when he gets his feet going, gets some speed up, he can cause some damage.
Bell Bay. Now, is that one of the many Bell Canada products? Or has it just always been named Bell Bay? Here we go! Andrews dropping the gloves against number 35, Samuel Duplan. The helmets are off, and here they go. And Duplan knows how to throw. He's got the victory here, folks. And it didn't take him long. Duplan looked like he got about 15 quick shots in there and ended this one in a hurry.
Yeah, Duplan is the one tough guy for Shawinigan. 121 penalty minutes in 14 games this season. He and Andrews pairing off there at the puck drop, and Duplan really giving it to Andrews. Take a look at it. You'll see everything on the ice here. The boys try and get their helmets off. That will come right about now as they throw a couple of punches. Duplan gets the big mitt over the helmet of Andrews. Kind of rips it off here as Andrews goes with the left hand and gets Duplan's helmet off. Then as soon as they break away, Andrews with a couple of lefts to the back of the head, but right here Duplan hits him with the right hand. And he hits him with about 3 more, and one good solid one right there before he goes down, throwing Andrews to the ice.
Counted 10 punches by Duplan once both of the helmets came off. Smart enough to know that when you throw them while the face mask is on, you generally just tear up your knuckles. And up along the boards to Greeno, and he's going to talk to the entire Hull bench and say, hey, boys, you don't want to mess with the new kid on the block. New kids are about that age, 20.
That's right. They're out of work, though.
Again?
I think so. One of them's back. I was going to ask you, Brad, I don't know who would have been the last Moosehead to wear number 15. I'm a big numbers guy. Does that ring a bell? Number 15 of Moosehead? Take a look. Greeno getting in front of the Hull bench there. And like Brad said, may have talked to the entire team. Did one of them maybe take a little shove at his back? He almost went into their lap there. Take a look. He locks up with one of the Hull players, has words with him. Anyone?
Oh, here we go! Jarrett taking a few shots. The gloves are off. Now the helmet's off. And he goes to work on Roberto Bissonnette. Oh, my! Bissonnette going for the helmet now, but in doing so, he's taking several hard shots to the noggin. Jarrett would slowly get going, but the reason being he was going for the helmet early, and it paid off. Oh, a couple of jabs, and still going. Daryl Jarrett with a good victory, at least so far, and it looks like he'll probably hang on. As Bissonnette seems to try, he looks like he's going to try and pull Jarrett down to the ice, but Jarrett won't go.
Bissonnette saying no to the linesman coming in.
Daryl Jarrett with a good fight there.
Hey, with that haircut, Jarrett looks like an army man there, doesn't he? He's establishing himself as a pretty good fighter in this league, Brad. He took good care of himself last night. That was a good fight. Sometimes you don't see guys land too many clean punches. I dare say that each player would have a sore face after that one. Just started just off the face-off there after we talked about Greeno getting tied up in front of the Hull bench. Some of the players perhaps shoving at him from behind. Like Brad said, Jarrett gets the Hull players' helmet off. We'll just watch them swing at it here. They get tied up. Bissonnette with a couple of good right hands, but that last one seemed to go over the top. Delivers the left, trying in vain to get that helmet off. I think Jarrett's helmet eventually did come off at the end of the fight. Good reason to shave your head. The other player can't grab your hair in a fight.
You see Jarrett trying to get at Bissonnette's hair there for a moment.
His is pretty short, too. Not as short as Darrow's. But
a couple of soft jabs there. That didn't seem to hurt Bissonnette too much, but so hard to fight an opponent who has his helmet still on. I think it's that Bissonnette is frustrated here at this point of the game.
Yeah. It's not even so much the helmet, of course. The half shield is... You punch a half shield, you can cut your knuckles up pretty quickly. Right here, Bissonnette saying no to the linesman. He wants to keep going because
he knows he hasn't got his money's worth yet.
No, Jarrett with the early decision. This went on for a good long time. And of course, Brad, you know, people talk about hockey fights. Are they good or are they bad? I really thought last night it was a big part of the game, a positive part of the game for the Mooseheads. It helped bring a good energy to the game.
King, of course, a Newfoundlander from Corner Brook. Boone from Belle Island, Newfoundland.
Gillis and Ryan Lee mixing it up a bit. Greeno in there with Bissonnette. Bissonnette fighting earlier with Daryl Jarrett. Thought Greeno's been playing well. He scored the game's first goal, but over and above that, a lot of energy. He's finished his checks, and I've always thought the Mooseheads could use that. We may have gotten, thought it might have been a misconduct call, but referee Pellerin trying to get these guys to the penalty box. Bissonnette still cycling around and shooting off a bit.
No penalties appear to be called. They're going to face off.
Thought there'd be a penalty out of that for sure. We're going to have a fight, I think. Drop the puck, says Bissonnette. We want to go.
There they go. There's no question about this. They were going before the puck was dropped. Oh, my!
Whoa.
Both of these players are just going full tilt. Real quality. Quick, hard fight. Both fighters doing very well. Hockey players, I should say. Bissonnette handled himself well. Greeno seemed to have the edge early. Greeno, ever the showman.
Well, Bissonnette pretty happy with himself. Greeno doing a nice little dance too, but
of course, Bissonnette second.
Bissonnette saying drop the puck so we can get at it. Brad, you hit the nail on the head. It wasn't one of these fights where it just dragged on. They fought quick and they threw a lot of punches. Look at Greeno.
Swordsman.
Looks like a horse waiting for the gate to open.
Look at this. Get the count on the number of punches thrown.
Right here, Greeno lands a couple. Bissonnette fought back pretty well. He's a tough guy in his own right.
I think the Greeno punch woke him up because he got better as the fight went on.
He did. He really nailed him a couple of good times there. And I tell you, the whole rink knew they were gonna drop leather, and away they went.
I'd have to call that a draw.
Yeah, a good one. And I'd say the little dance Greeno did was pretty nice. Of course, he was responding after Bissonnette did his little show. So.
Blue Sky, time to goal, 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Who said power play goal scored by...
Coming back the other way, Tinel, the Montreal draft pick, knocks it in. Victoriaville going to work with Feta in the corner. He centers it, but it was poked by Sutherland. Went out to the blue line, where his shot was fired by Gruel, and we've got some gloves off in front of the net, and we have a battle, a hard one. As Flynn is going hard at Feta. Feta, a very talented fighter over the years, 20-year-old player, Joey Feta. I've seen him go drop the gloves in this building so many times over the years, Dan. But he's going up against a very tough fighter in Flynn, who is also a little taller than Feta. But Feta really working hard in there.
Flynn took exception to Feta cracking on Ali McEachern in front of the net. Flynn delivered about 4 right hands. Doesn't look like they'll be able to get loose here in the corner, but the linesman giving them a chance to.
Feta with an uppercut, got the helmet off, but now Flynn says, hey, I can give some of that back. And you can see Flynn seems to own the body weight. He's controlling Feta in along the glass. Again, the linesman giving him a little more time. Feta with the helmet still on has a little bit of an advantage, but maybe neutralized by the strength of Flynn. And linesmen are ready to say that's enough, but a pretty good contest from both of those players who stood ground.
A couple of strong boys there. That just exploded out front of the net. That is certainly a tough customer.
I remember he was around as a rookie fighting the likes of Jody Shelley 4 seasons back.
He gives up a half a foot in height with Ryan Flynn. He's 5'10". Let's see how this all started. Shot comes to the net. I guess it's to Feta there. He cross-checks the Victoriaville forward down front. Feta takes exception. Couple of pokes by him. He takes one from Jelena. And where's Ryan Flynn? I think he'll come in to your left here. Oh, sorry, that was him on the right. Before the linesman Como could get out of there, Flynn hit him about 6 times.
Not sure, but I think Joe DePetta may have dropped his gloves and never had to use them.
Yeah, DePetta ready to handle himself. He's a big boy, too. That went on for a good long time. Flynn, it's good to see looking after his players. And Ryan, when he plays a physical style, obviously that's his calling card, but it seems when he throws a few hits early or gets into a fight early, he tends to have a pretty successful game following that, so I think it really gets him into those games when he does that kind of thing. Good job by the Moose defenseman to keep them away from just shoveling that into the open net. So an exciting play there, and Volkov finally trapping it.
A half an hour for Volkov. What about all the fans sitting behind the net here in the Metro Center? It felt like an hour to them. He paid good money. Oh, we're going to have a fight here. St. Louis stepping up against Richard Paul, an 18-year-old 210-pounder. Let's see how they go. Paul and St. Louis. St. Louis, look at the speed in this kid. Oh, but he takes a knockout punch from Paul, who seemed to get under the visor there. St. Louis looked like one good punch knocked him down, and, well, Paul celebrates what had to be a victory there.
He must be number 1, I guess, from what he's showing us. But that predetermined bout, it didn't last long. Both players firing a few, but St. Louis going down pretty quickly there.
Well, he's got to watch out which number 1s he shows to the fans. Everybody reading the paper this morning, and Eric LaPlante with some very obscene gestures in Moncton got 3 games, although LaPlante did a
It counted 4, I believe, but I think
we're going to have a fight here,
Dan.
LaHoo, who has been a tough guy for the Mooseheads since they've acquired him, and he's going up against Paul, who wants to get rid of the elbow pads.
Come on.
This is going to be a big battle if we ever get the fight. Here they go. Saturday night's all right for fighting. How about on a Thursday night or a Friday morning? There they go. You can hear Elton John in the background. And Paul, who was very strong earlier, seems to have a hot night.
Well, we had a big build-up to that fight, and not much once they tangled there.
Typical Tyson fight.
Yeah, that's right.
Typical Tyson fight.
Paul adjusting his script. Homer Simpson calls it boring. I'd have to agree. So Paul taking everything off. His second fight of the night. He'll be gone. A lot of players in that league. Little WWF maneuver there. A lot of players in this league with that foolishness. They'll get into a fight. I don't know who they think they are, but they'll make these stupid gestures to the crowd.
By getting ejected from the game, Richard Paul knows his plus-minus won't get affected if the Mooseheads go on a scoring rampage. So there could be a little bit of wisdom to that particular situation.
I'll tell you, Lou doesn't look happy over there in the box, throwing his gear around. He's not happy with this fight. It didn't last very long. Of course, he gets him in the old headlock for a minute. Then the blonde-top Paul wrestles him to the ice. But we've seen a lot of that the last couple of games. Players, of course, opposing players come in here and do that.
That being said, let's go to ice level again. 8-3 the Mooseheads lead. Sadie in the net. That is the big story of this game so far. His league debut, or sorry, his home debut, his league debut in Bathurst the other night. And here we go, a fight. That looks like Grollo, Joe Grollo.
That's big Sandros Broca.
Gone down very quickly here to Sandros Broca. And any comment on that short battle?
Well, I didn't think that we'd see a fight. The game certainly didn't have that feel to it at this point, as both players will skate off with 3:47 to go. But Sproka is a big dude. He's 6'2".
Little 2-on-3 off lob man attack by Lombardi. We've got a fight in the other end. Daryl Jarrett right now trying to hold back his attacker. Oh, and a dirty move. Jarrett wants back in.
Levesque with a bit of a suplex on Jarrett there, going down
Jarrett
to grab his
got right
foot.
back up.
Yeah. He's a tough kid. Leads the team by a country mile in fighting majors. Hadn't seen much of him until this shift. He wasn't happy, I don't think, of that little move by Levesque.
No pun intended on that. You said a little move by Levesque.
Yeah, that's right. Take a look at it here. Jarrett never averse to dropping the gloves. Levesque with some pretty good pops in there. 5'8", 190. He's a tough kid. He got a good uppercut. Watch this now.
Well, that's a dirty move right there. Picking up at the opponent's leg and then continuing to fight. But Jarrett's so tough. Gets right back up. And then the linesman, Dwyer, perhaps came in at the wrong time.
Yeah, the little fisherman suplex there by Levesque. But yeah, that's right. Linesman Dwyer rushing in to grab a hold.
Le bâton a pété. Moi, je me suis fait
Play underway. Here's Shefford. I'll make that King. The King is back. King getting a low shot. Jarrett right in there. Jarrett will stand tall. He wants to go. Oh, double team. And we've got a big match. The linesman getting in the way of the one fight, and now we've got pandemonia here in front of the net. There we go. The linesman leaving all of the other players in front of that. Emery going at one of the Mooseheads, and I can't pull up the jersey. It's McCachran.
Two fights at once here, Brad. Hard to keep track.
And Boone is firing. Boone has the helmet off, and Boone is going wild on number 16, Villeneuve. Oh, my. What a hit by Boone, a knockout punch. And the goalie is the third man in. The goalie has got to be kicked out of the game.
Yeah, Brendamore's going to be gone.
The goalie has got to be kicked out of the game. He's the third man in here.
McCachran's still fighting in the near corner. He's taking on Emery for Montreal. That would be number 11, Francis Emery. Fans just loving that from Jonathan Boone.
And Brindamore should be out of the game. He has no place to be the third man in.
No, a real bonehead play by Brindamore there. He'll be gone for sure if the referee knows what he's doing at all.
If the referee knows what he's doing and thought, he should be gone.
It all started. Marc-André Beaulieu was in front of his own goal. And you can credit Daryl Jarrett with a hustle play and trying to get under the skin of the Montreal players. But take a look at Villeneuve here, going at it with Jonathan Boone. Villeneuve did all right early on. You see McCachran fighting Emery in the background. But once Boone got loose, we'll see a couple of strong right hands. His second fight in as many games. He's endearing himself to this crowd. Villeneuve doing pretty well for himself here. Now Boone starts to get a bit loose. Throwing some right hands. That's when the crowd get into it. He got a nice uppercut there, a couple of overhand rights. Right there was the killer. But Villeneuve doing a good job on his own, but he's going to end up on the bottom. A couple of nice fights here. The fans liking this one. There's Brindamore jumping in. He'll be gone for that one, no question. You get that big, heavy blocker throwing on top of the Halifax player, Boone. Take a look at the McCachran scuffle now with Emery in the other corner. Emery going to the left hand. McCachran doing his best to get free. Right now they're throwing goaltender Frederick Brindamore out of the game. That's the big cheer. We look at Emery and McCachran. They held on for a long time. Not as many punches thrown as the other fight, but a good one nonetheless. The fans giving it to Montreal goaltender Frederick Brindamore as he leaves the ice.
Well, one thing, I don't like to criticize officials, but I heard it from a lot of people on Wednesday night's game come up, and they were saying, why are the linesmen breaking up the fight too early? And the same thing happened here. The linesmen got in. Now, if they had let the initial two players go in front of the net, everybody else would have stood back and watched. But as soon as the linesmen got involved with the one fight, they left 10 guys, or should say 9 guys, standing in front of the net, and this thing got out of hand. There was nothing the referee could do, and there were no linesmen around.
First time tonight, shoots it in behind the goal. Santomo stops it, and the Huskies will try and work it back out, and they do. 16:43 to go here in period number 1. 1-0 Mooseheads. Interference penalty coming up to the Huskies. Jason Crowley went down, and he hasn't gotten up yet. Chris McQuaid, the trainer's out there, and we've got a fight. Gary Zink is into it with Lahou. Jason Lahou and Zink tied up pretty closely. Zink taking a couple of punches to the head. The big fellow's been fighting a bit lately. He can go. Zink tries to get in an uppercut. Lahou's got a good bear hug on him there. Two try and wrestle each other a bit. Zink hits a couple of left hands, and the two players go to the ice. Jason Crowley is still on the ice, too. He took a hit there near the blue line of the Mooseheads. Just up to his knees now as we take a look at Gary Zink. Zink taking exception to the bump that Crowley took, and he went in there to fight Jason Lahou. So Crowley just up on his knees now, chatting with the trainer, Chris McQuaid. Take a look at it here. This is Lahou rushing over towards Zink. He gets into the middle of it, grabs Zink sort of from behind around the helmet. Not much of a fight. The two sort of getting into a bear hug. Lahou catching a couple of punches onto Zink. He got a good right hand there on Zink. More of a wrestling match than anything else. Our first fighting major of the night. And Crowley looking a bit better now as we take a look at the action. Lahou, number 17. His 13 penalty minutes coming into tonight. It's a good left hand in there on Zink, and the two wrestle to the ice. So Zink, one of those players for the Moose.
For what he did at home, but amazing numbers on the road.
The bid just getting stronger and stronger every game, it seems, for the Mooseheads. So strong down along the goal line and with the man advantage. A smart passer and real tough on the puck. As the Bruce Gillis line comes out, just their second shift. He's out there with Boone on the right side, on the left side, and Darryl Jarrett over in the right wing. Puck now inside the Moosehead zone.
Oh,
and we've
Jarrett
got a fight.
fighting!
Didn't see that go. He takes a couple there to the head. He's fighting with Sean Scanzano.
Scanzano, a real tough customer who fought here the last time he was in town. Darryl Jarrett looks like a bit of a draw out there. The linesman get in early.
Scanzano, obviously a strong guy, Brad. At the end there, kind of manhandled Darryl and threw him into the boards a bit. He's a large kid, trying to get the dimensions on him here, but a big fella is Sean Scanzano.
Scanzano measuring up at 220 pounds, 6'4" in height. Darryl Jarrett, I had the pleasure of having lunch with him yesterday. He and Bob Mongrain, I sat at their table. And Jarrett looking forward to the extra playing time he'll get with some of the players going to the World Junior. Here he is doing his best against a very big, tough Scanzano, who, as Dan mentioned, kind of muscled him into the boards there. They're picking the puck up from Grollo, one of the newer Moosehead defensemen. Checking line for Halifax. Halifax caught offside. The puck trickling in. We could have a fight along the boards. Let's have a look. We may have one or two fights. The linesmen, McDonald and McMullen, get in there quickly and try and separate things.
That's Ettinger and Greeno along the boards.
Two of the heavyweights. Moncton going after Ettinger to provide some toughness that many felt Moncton didn't have. Well, with over 300 penalty minutes, Ettinger certainly filling that bill for the Wildcats.
Boy, in the big Edmonton draft choice, so strong as he does battle with Nick Greeno. A couple of good left hands there by Trevor as he puts Greeno to the ice. Really overpowering Nick Greeno, who's a very good fighter in his own right. All of this starting after the whistle. You see Greeno getting up high on Jarrett there and Actually, Ettinger getting up high on Jarrett. Greeno coming in to help out. Gloves go off quickly and those two do battle. But you're right, Brad. Ettinger lending some size and toughness to this Moncton lineup.
Ettinger with 349 penalty minutes coming into this game. But look at this. In Cape Breton, one of the lowest teams in the league, he was a plus 14. So when he was on the ice, Cape Breton wasn't losing. Unfortunately, Cape Breton didn't have the depth to go along with Ettinger, and they made...
Morgan Warren would have been in good position, but he didn't need that rebound. 49 goals now for Jonathan Waugh, the former Drummondville Voltigeur, and it's 4-1 for the Wildcats.
Well, there wasn't a lot of room above. We've got to fight Greeno going after, I believe, Bobby Reed, but I'm not yet. It's Bobby Reed.
Well, Greeno trying to give his team a start late in the game. Just a good one there from Reed.
Separated. Greeno, who fought earlier in the game, will leave the ice. Bobby Reed is first fight to stay in the penalty box.
Yeah, Bobby Reed, 153 penalty minutes in 49 games coming into today's game. And Greeno, 267 minutes, and it starts right off the face-off. Greeno with about 4 quick right hands. To give Reed credit, he stuck in there. Gave a couple of good shots to Greeno. Greeno was the better of the fight early, Brad, you'd have to say, but then Reed coming on strong in the end. A couple of heavyweights, you could say, especially Greeno. He gets into it a lot, but Bobby Reed shows that he can shift to the left hand as well. As we say, Greeno trying to get his team going, and the fans will cheer as he leaves the ice.
And the linesman wanted him back, but we knew all along he'd already fought in the game. Benoit Dussablar, Joe Grollo. Now Flynn, backhand, from center. And possibly a battle from, we got Ettinger, and is that Flynn down there?
Yep.
Two tall hockey players, Flynn and Ettinger. Heavyweights going toe-to-toe.
Hope these guys can get separated. I'd like to see them go. Not often Flynn fights a guy who's that large. There aren't many guys that large in the league.
Carlisle Lewis and Ettinger used to go toe-to-toe frequently last year. This one will end early as the draw. As you mentioned, two of the tallest fighters, but Ettinger pretty happy with his performance in that one, Dan. And Flynn, with that jersey over the eyes, had a tough time seeing the target.
Well, both guys as strong as a bull, and I think if Ettinger can get his hands on you in that close, and he delivers a couple of good left hands there to Ryan Flynn. Flynn, of course, not real good vision there with the jersey pulled up over the head, and that's, you see the strap on the back of the jersey. Face-off. Donovan takes the loose puck, turns to his left. We've got a fight along the boards with Gary Zink. He's tied up with Steve North, I believe. No, that's not North. It's the goal scorer, number 25, Shane Lomax. And the big, strong Gary Zink ending up on top of Lomax. More of a wrestling match there than anything. Good look at it there. Zink not willing to relent, get up. It's the two linesmen in there to break it up. Zink with a few choice words for number 25, Shane Lomax, as the two talk it over. We saw Donovan and Jarrett talk before that little scrum, before the puck was dropped. Lomax and Zink go at it. A couple of headlocks, no real dangerous or damaging punches thrown there. Take a look at it here. Zink tries to get a couple away. Lomax has the left hand around his head, the arm, and he sort of tries to rope him to the ground there, but Zink ends up on top of him. Lomax with a couple of body shots there. Not much of a fight. This all coming with 6:15 to go in the first period. So Gary Zink, one of those players for the Mooseheads who not afraid to drop the gloves. Of course, Ryan Flynn, the leader in that group. Gerald Jarrett does some fighting. Jonathan Boone. I think fans
running backward into Kudrock. And now Zink in the corner, knocking it around for Hugo LaHoo. Another one of the newest Mooseheads out there, wearing T.J. Lynch's old number. No icing. Oh, it shouldn't have been icing. It ran through the paint, although we may have an infraction out near center. I think we're going to have a little battle here. Two players.
I think that's Zink for Halifax, Brad.
And number 16, Tommy Baie-Comeau.
Sorry, that is LaHoo. Hugo LaHoo.
Our newest Moosehead. LaHoo going against Baie-Comeau, and these two tie up early. LaHoo's helmet off. You see that dyed blonde hair underneath. Popular in many of the young hockey players. Lots of the players in the Cole Harbor Minor Hockey Association dyeing their hair blonde like that. And LaHoo giving it a roll, and he lands a nice one. Fans in Halifax certainly enjoying his effort.
Well, Hugo LaHoo making his presence felt here in his Metro Center debut. Bolduc pretty happy with himself, the hands in the air, and the crowd getting on him a little bit. But Hugo LaHoo with Val-d'Or, 115 penalty minutes in 41 games. And Coach Mongrain says he fits in real nicely as the sixth defenseman. Strong guy, Bolduc, but I'd say LaHoo got the best of this fight, Brad. Threw a couple of good punches later on. Pretty much a premeditated fight. LaHoo was at about center ice and dropped the gloves, circled back in towards the blue line, and locked up with Bolduc. Tommy Bolduc, a lanky kid, strung up against the boards there, not able to really fire off any punches. But the Mooseheads that were criticized a little early on in the year, saying that perhaps the defense was a little softer than you'd want it to be. But they got tougher with this man, LaHoo, who throws a good right hand there, and that's all she wrote for that fight. Off to a pretty good start tonight, Brad. Lots of spirit. These two teams, Hart and Greeno, I'll tell you, lots of players can be aggressive, but sometimes you have to have a knack for the open ice, the body check. Greeno appears to be one of those players who has that, and the Mooseheads can really use that for the rest of the season.
Well, it took a while to win that face-off, but Martineau, oh, we've got a fight right off the wheel. Greeno in the second fight of the game, so he'll be gone. And he is battling number 24, Sylvain Plamondon.
Plamondon getting mixed up with Ryan Flynn earlier, taking a penalty for hitting Flynn in the back of the head, getting his hands up.
Linesman in a little early there, but that was, I believe, the hit for Greeno. That was the second fight of the game, was it not?
I believe so. Both players unable to really get loose, Brad. The scrap starting just off the draw as Greeno raises his hands and goes up the tunnel. So we've had a little bit of everything tonight. A short-handed goal, a couple of power play opportunities, a good save by Volkov, and Plamondon skates out at the other end. Plamondon mixed it up the last time he was here in Halifax as well. He's got 207 penalty minutes in 30 games, and he and Greeno having words right off the draw here. Greeno sort of being held down by the right hand of Plamondon in along the boards. The line's been trying to move the sticks out there. So many times you'll see players step on that equipment and go down. And you can really get hurt when you do that sort of thing, but not really much in the way of good punches materializing there, what with the close proximity of the two players.
Reed giving the puck up for Gauthier. Husky power play. Gauthier dumps it around. Lefebvre, will he pick it up? Yes, he does. Thought he may have left it go for Morel. And Ramsey Abid has had enough of Tremblay, but Tremblay does not want any piece of Ramsey Abid from the looks of things.
I'll tell you what happened there. Abid took a body check at center ice. It looked like he got injured a little bit, but he kept in the play and went over and laid the lumber onto the Rouyn-Noranda player. I believe that's Gary Zink at the bottom of a pile with Guillaume Lefebvre. No, it's not Lefebvre.
That's Morel, Alexander Morel.
Right, yeah, I didn't have that number on my sheet right there.
Morel not getting up here, so now Zink is up, but he's going to take a few more shots. Morel was happy to pounce on Zink when Zink was on the bottom. So Gary Zink got up and said, if that's what you're going to do to me, I'll give a few shots back at you. Gary Zink, you don't want to mess with him. He was a solid physical player for the Pembroke Lumber Kings last year and has certainly made this team with heart and desire.
I'll tell you what happened. This is how this all started. Ramsey Abid was going through the neutral zone, and he takes a hit right there from Tremblay. Now, Abid had let the puck go. There should have been an interference call. I thought he maybe injured his shoulder or got the wind knocked out of him, but I kind of followed him back down into his own end, and Ramsey's got a temper. He gives a pretty good one-hand flash. He's got lots of time to look at it as they clean up the gloves and such on the ice. Good work there by Steve Dobson to follow Ramsey along. He stretches out a little bit. And right about here, he says, I'm not going to put up with that garbage. As a Husky player, I believe it was just a little half-hearted. That's Lefebvre. Half-hearted flash. He's going to get a penalty there, but watch what he does to Tremblay. Cross-checked on the left hand. So a bit getting upset with that bump from Tremblay, and that's where everything broke loose along the board.
Gord Dwyer.
McEachran and Zink stepped out of the way. Sheffer in with Dussablon. Shot fired and deflected. As Bruno Cadieux got in the way, and he wants a piece of Andre Sheffer.
Now this could get bad here, Brad. We've got them two Moosehead defensemen in there. All players down below the goal line.
Well, Grollo and LaHoo enjoy the tussle, and those two players are at the center of the action down there. Hugo LaHoo squaring off right there.
Michael Pinky's got, no, I'm sorry, that's Elaine Turcotte.
Going at it pretty hard there, Dan.
Frustration setting in now, Brad, you would think, for the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies. You don't like to get beat 10-5 at home, on the road, no matter where, so they've got their pride, and they're trying to show the Mooseheads that they're not pushovers, but a little bit late in the game for that.
The gates will open up, and the final moments of tonight's game as LaHoo skates off are going to take a little bit longer to play. That's how it started.
Grollo wasted.
Sheffer got in the middle of that, but as soon as anybody takes a step on Sheffer, the tough guys, Grollo and LaHoo, step in.
It's kind of funny to watch. all 8 skaters, 10 skaters rather, in the ice in there below the goal line, and eventually it was Turcotte and Lahou who square off. Hugo's a strong young player, and actually they do throw a couple of punches there near the end, but
Zink maybe had a chance at it, but it will come out by Lomax. Voltov trying to pass it to Dussabla, and Dussabla. Oh, we've got a fight. Gary Zink going hard against number 25, Shane Lomax. He is the older of the two Lomaxes, coming in at 19 years old. A 200-pounder, and he will take Zink down in a wrestling-style pin. Jeff McDonald out there again, a linesman tonight.
Good power by Lomax to get Zink to the ice. Zink, no weak character out there. He's a big man, and he's been applying himself physically this year. Take a look at Lomax, one of the more physical players on the T10 squad. They get this on just to the right of the Moosehead goal. More of a wrestling match than anything. Try to strip the helmets off each other, as is customary. Lomax, 11 games, 36 penalty minutes. No points of which to speak so far for the T10 as he wrestles Gary Zink to the ice. Pretty comfortable in goal tonight for the T10. Take a look at his numbers on the season, Brad. A goals against at 3.74. That's not really all that bad for a team like the T10 who face a lot of shots.
Another stop. Boucher getting work here. And we've got some tempers flaring down there. Look at Sagan. Sagan doesn't want to drop the gloves. This is the kind of player Sam Sagan has become in Bathurst. Doesn't want to drop the gloves. But Rob Sutherland says, well, I'll rip your helmet off and give you a couple of pokes. Rob Sutherland, oh my, close quarters. Uppercut on Sagan. And Sutherland getting Sagan down to the ice.
Sagan's bleeding, I believe, Brad. Someone is, and I think it's Sam. He took 4 or 5 left hands from Rob Sutherland.
Well, I'm surprised that Sagan was taking the cheap shots with the gloves on. Cool. He was hitting Sutherland with the gloves on, refused to drop the gloves. Sutherland said enough of that. Oh, Sagan is furious.
Well, you got to wonder if the mask, if the half mask is what cut his nose. Maybe Rob punched him in the mask and it cut his nose. Maybe it was just a good left hand. Sagan did get mixed up with Sutherland and wouldn't drop the gloves. So you got to, if you're going to get into that stuff and the other guy drops his gloves, you'd better drop them as well and start defending yourself. So all this starting when Sutherland drove the net as they trade the blows right there back and forth. You see Jelena come in. That's pretty calculated. Each one hauling off.
Look at the smile on Rob Sutherland. You know, Sutherland's not afraid to go. I think he realizes that Sagan doesn't want to drop the gloves. So Sutherland just enjoying himself out there. It's rare you see a fighter smiling in the middle of a fight.
It's right here that Sutherland gets the left hand working, Brett. We heard an audible crack right there and right there. So that's when you'll see the blood fly down. I don't want to get too graphic here this early in the morning, but it's all part of it. Sutherland still working that left hand. And, all this happening after a couple of Mooseheads driving the net and patience. The 4th power play goal of the season for Brandon Benedict and 15th overall. It's 4-1 Mooseheads.
Power play, the story tonight. Halifax 3 goals in a row now with the man advantage. We've got a fight right at center. Sinisak having trouble against the Moosehead down there, and that is Greeno, Nick Greeno. Of course, Nick Greeno coming over with the Dussabla. In the trade, I think that's the Rouyn trade to Rouyn-Noranda.
That's right, yep. Of course, we'll see Rouyn on Saturday night.
Not Rouyn-Noranda, that's
Val-d'Or.
Val-d'Or.
Little premeditated action there as Greeno and Sinisak get down and dirty at center ice, just off to the wing there, just when the puck dropped. So I guess the T10 trying to get something going physically anyway. Sinisak now 219 penalty minutes coming into today's game. It's just 5'10", 195. So see the linesmen, I like to see that. They clear out the debris, the sticks and the gloves, because they don't want the players to step on them and fall and hurt themselves. Greeno pretty quiet tonight, and some interviews from players, that sort of thing.
Opportunity to ride Moose Mania all the way to the Memorial Cup, and Eastlink Community Television, the only place you can get a ticket when they're all sold out. Let's go down, and Steve Dobson on hand down below with the Dobson cam as we look at Joe DePenta going with Rattel, and Joe DePenta, well, a Steamboat Willie puts the 3 count on him for a wrestling pin.
Well, DePenta's 6'3", Luke Rattel is 5'9". Joe just much stronger.
Listen to the crowd. A good ovation for Joe DePenta.
Looks like he's sporting a new haircut there, Brad, all shaved up for the stretch drive. Had a bit of a cross-check there on Rattel. Rattel tries to get the helmet off him right away. Again, more of a wrestling match than anything, but DePenta, a pretty strong customer. Not a real physical player, but he has improved that aspect of his game as this season's gone on, I believe. That's something he'll have to do if he wants to make that jump into pro hockey and eventually become part of the Florida Panthers. They, of course, own his rights. Big into the plans for the Mooseheads in the future. He's got some skill. We saw it at the first of the year when he got lots of ice time. And really, since the trade deadline, and I guess a couple of weeks before that, King hasn't seen a whole lot of ice time. It's got to be tough for him. He dresses most nights, but doesn't get out there too much.
Well, the Mooseheads have traded a lot of rookies, but boy, the rookies they have: Gillis, King, John Lewis, Sheffer, and Flynn. And we're going to have another fight here tonight.
Lomax and Flynn. Couple of big boys.
Ryan Flynn going right to work, gets Lomax's helmet off, and is well on his way to a knockout. A one-sided fight in which Flynn has appeared to dominate.
Linesman Jeff McDonald figuring that the Lomax had enough. Flynn's arms are so long, Brad, that it's so hard to get at him. He's powerful as well, of course. Can't be easy to come in here to the Metro Center and fight one of the league's best fighters. So Lomax, Shane Lomax, game. There's 2 Lomaxes on this team. He was game for that fight, but coming out on the wrong end of a decision. See Flynn just squaring off, letting Lomax make his move, and see Ryan with the arm so long, the 2 meet with the punches. But after that, Flynn can kind of just hold him at bay, and Lomax really gets his head down and gets at a distinct disadvantage there.
You can tell at this point Lomax wants nothing at all to do with Flynn, but Flynn doesn't give up easy, and he'll get another shot or 2 in before they separate the 2 players. So perhaps some
Acadie-Bathurst, but the next 3 are sold out. So Moosehead fans really getting into it as the season winds down. Only 3 games after this one remaining here at the Metro Center regular season.
Yeah, 7 of 8 sold out. Here goes Yannick Lahou on Yannick Gay. Sorry, that's not Gay. That's Louis Alfred. Hugo Lahou and Alfred. And this one ends early.
A little bit of a scuffle breaking out near the Moosehead bench there momentarily, but more just jawing back and forth now. Frustrating night for the D10 as Hugo Lahou and Yannick Gay get into it. Hugo a much bigger Yannick Gay, 5'8", 168. And Lou weighing in at 6'2", 215. So actually, I'm sorry, that's Alfred. Yeah, I thought it was Gay. 74, Alfred. He's not a big guy either, 5'9", 185. So just trying to get away from Lou. And Jeff McDonald, again, and his compadre there, Como, in to break up the fight.
And it would not be unlucky for Halifax, and 13 often considered an unlucky number. There's Boone in the corner. He was checked into the boards by Levesque. Still tied up there. Oh, Boone has dropped the gloves. He wants to go, but I don't know if he's going to get a fight here. Boone and Hugo Levesque, and Boone is all over Levesque. The linesmen are in, and that's going to be all. Boone, I think you got to give him a decision. Levesque didn't want to fight her.
Something that Hugo Levesque did really set Jonathan Boone off. Boy, he dropped those gloves and hammered Levesque with a good right hand before Levesque knew what was going on, I think. Levesque did drop the gloves and get into it, but you'll look at the play in here in the corner as Boone, there it was. He took a big slash from Levesque and just loses his mind here, drops the gloves, rips the helmet off. A strong young man, a good couple of right hands. Levesque felt those two ones, especially the one in the ear. It looked like the second punch. Boone still with a glove on there. A short but an exciting fight in the corner as Boone, taking exception to a slash from Levesque. We'll get another look at it, a nice angle there from the cameraman. Jonathan Boone, the Newfoundlander, dropping the gloves and hammering. You'll see right here, Levesque takes one in the ear and then one in the back of the head. And I think at about that time, he kind of wants to get out of it. He'll throw a couple of little short ones on his own as Boone continues to be the aggressor. He did not take kindly to that slash by Hugo Levesque, and Boone really losing the temper there.
They're going to wave it off very slow to get over the red line. 4 seconds left as P.J. Lynch gets a late bit of ice time. And that will do it. Oh, Ramsey Abate is going to have to fight in this period. Ryan Flynn is fighting him, and that should take him out for 10 minutes. And I don't like the way the linesman jumped in early here.
Well, Flynn's not finished.
Ramsey Abate has done something to explode this Moosehead team. And Ryan Flynn, who was a teammate last year, is right out there on him.
A bit of spontaneous combustion by big number 28, Flynn, as he gets their hands at their feet. Big roar from the crowd. A bit annoyed him somehow, and he took the front. Pretty quickly, Flynn dropped those gloves and got the right to left going. And a bit, all he could really do was cover up here at the end of the second. We'll hear it from the crowd as he skates out towards the end.
Well, you can see if it didn't want to take
He's going to square up with the Bathurst defenseman. He's going to get a
front of
penalty.
the net. And I think he is going to get a penalty. He wants a little more than the 2 minutes, so he's going to stay right there.
Postman, here they go.
There they go. And Beauchemin, he's a Montreal draft pick, and there he goes. Flynn and Beauchemin. Beauchemin gave him quite a slash before they dropped their gloves. Although Flynn gave him a little bit of a tap as well.
I think I just saw the right knee of Ryan Flynn come towards Beauchemin as he points at him. He wanted a piece of him bad, a slash, an elbow, anything he could do to draw the ire of Beauchemin, who finally did drop the gloves. Ryan Flynn, an upset camper right now. He's going to go to the dressing room, it appears.
Well, with only 7:20 left, they may send Beauchemin there as well. I know he probably only picked up 5 minutes, but Beauchemin certainly won't see much more of this hockey game, and
good shot of Ryan Flynn there, Brad, as he skates off the ice. Fans giving him a bit of a hand.
oh, he is certainly on the face-off, but McEachran didn't race up for it. And a chance now. Well, he's taken back by Benedict. Feeds it through the legs of Larac to make that Gerard. 3 seconds.
Fans love it here in Halifax as Lynch might square off. He's going to.
P.J. Lynch
He's in with Trudell. He's a tough customer.
up against Trudell. Let's see how Lynch fares. There goes Lynch. Lynch may have taken the first one. Now we're getting into some rules.
The helicopter effect there, Brad. I think they got spinning around so fast.
There's not a lot of punches thrown, but I think Friedel landed a quick one. And yes, he did win the fight, but I don't think the fans appreciate him too much here.
He's saying his goodbyes here as Halifax shutting out Bathurst 5-0. An eventful game, Brad, to say the least.
I got to tell you, I'm baffled here. This Acadie-Bathurst team with their stars, it's just hard to believe. Last year they owned the Mooseheads, and tonight the Mooseheads own them. There's that helicopter wheel.
Moosehead goal scored by Reed from at 11:04. Winning penalties to number 12, Alexander Mark.
course, top European player at the All-Star game. Breton certainly have some tools to build with. They'd like to put that drive together right now. We're going to have a fight early in the hockey game. Ryan Flynn lining up against Hunter LaHache. P.J. Lynch, I believe, billeting with Hunter LaHache right now, and these two go at it pretty hard, the heavyweight battle. Look at the focus of these two and the eyes. Serious business for LaHache and Flynn. These two don't look like they're ready to fold up just yet.
Pretty good battle, Brad.
Well, both fighters stood on their feet for the entire duration. It lasted about a minute. Physical game, an important part of hockey. We want to dominate in the corners and send that presence out. And let's have another look at it on the replay.
I tell you, Flynn got off a few good right hands early. We had the camera angle sort of over his shoulder. But LaHache kept punching as well. Right there, Flynn with about 3 early. But LaHache is giving him all he can handle, and he really comes on late in the fight. Flynn really with his head down there, just throwing the right hands. LaHache, 268 penalty minutes on the season coming into tonight. Of course, Flynn, one of the tougher players in the league as well, 313 penalty minutes. And
you love to have Mathieu Biron playing for the Mooseheads of the Memorial Cup, playing for the Mooseheads in the playoffs. Just email. Tell us why. We're going to send them to New York. Wanted. Biron at eastlink.ca. As the fight breaks out down below between Gary Zink and Cote, we're going to still plug Biron. If you want to see Biron in a Halifax jersey, make sure you give us a fax at the station. Email us. Email us once, twice, often, and we'll get Biron playing here in a Halifax jersey yet. What do you think, Dan?
well, if we were to come back, I think that would make a world of difference. And there you see, Wanted Biron at eastlink.ca. The email address and the fax, 902-453-5714. Gary Zink doing a lot of what you talked about, Brad, with Brian Van Horn of the Daily News. He knows his place on this team, plays a tough role. He gets into a pretty good one there with Cote.
Well, a lot of fans in Cole Harbour kept on emailing the station, phoning the station. They say, we want to see a little bit on Gary Zink. Hey, folks, you send your news to the station, and we'll try and get it on for you. And I think the news you want to see right now is tell us why you want Biron, and we'll send those down to the Islanders. The campaign kicked off here tonight by Eastlink. And look at these fighters go. Talk about heart. They're wearing their heart on their jersey tonight. Both players, Cote and Zink, giving it a go here in period 2. Trying to stands for King, Jason King, sending the puck into the corner. Rob Sutherland up there with give it. Fred Belanger as the fans count down the final second. A little skirmish after the whistle, and we've got a little battle down there. The fans are in the way.
Turning into a big skirmish all of a sudden. Daryl Jarrett's paired off with Michael McIntyre, who hasn't seen much ice time tonight. Those two go at it. What the reasoning is, or I should say what the ruling is on fights after the end of the game, Brad. But I tell you, Jarrett overpowering Michael McIntyre there. Pepper's just flaring after the whistle blew. Some bodies bumping along the far boards over by the penalty box. And a fight to conclude this game, won by the Mooseheads 4-1.
Still some Eagles fans. You know, the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles brought a lot of fans into the building and a lot of excitement tonight. They played a spirited game, going down to defeat, though, 4-1, the Halifax Mooseheads on top tonight. Halifax, of course, hosting the Memorial Cup. And but looking as Bob Mongrain hoped.
Overall, the Mooseheads 6, but with game at hand. Couple of games, actually. Nice passing there at the side. Leclerc reading the play, though. Simon Laliberte, who has had many good chances in this game, stopped yet again. Sorosh in tight. And look at that. 1-2 defenseman. DePenta and Jelena. And Jelena may have to go. third man in from Moncton, and let's see if the referee picked up on that.
That's Simon Lalaberty he squared off with.
Jelena gets one fired. He's going for the uppercut. Now the helmet's off. Brilliant fighting by Jasmine Jelena, the veteran, against Lalaberty. Threw an uppercut. They catch him off guard and then pull the helmet off. Now a couple more shots. Oh, a tough goal there. And I'm telling you, Lalaberty doesn't have a lot left. And the linesmen jump in to bail him out. Lalaberty, a TKO for Jelena.
A couple of the smaller fighters that you'll ever see square off here at the Metro Center, but a couple of good veteran moves by Jasmine Jelena. First pulling the helmet off Simon Lalaberty, and then grabbing the jersey down low and yanking it up over his head. All he could do, Jasmine, was get the left hand going, but he was in there close. Lalaberty was poking around where Jelena thought he shouldn't, and took exception to that, so those two get into it. It's got to be tough for Moncton. Lalaberty, obviously not a physical force. Just 18 penalty minutes on the season. As we take a look at Moncton move the puck around, Lalaberty makes a good tip here, and a good save by Leclerc right there. I guess.
Lalaberty throwing the gloves first.
Yeah, he took a left hand. He
and
didn't
this
like
is
it
what I don't like. Not third man in. You see Mirko Murovic coming over, but
watch the linesman grab Jelena by the. Well, I guess it just happened before that, but he grabbed him by the collar, tried to stop this from getting underway. Nothing really much developing, as Jelena a little bit later on will switch to the left hand because that's all he can get loose. And right there, yanking the helmet off. So good effort by Jasmine. He's a leader in this team, and he has to do that from time to time, and he will do what he has to. Doesn't wear, I guess, not a C, but is one of those guys that the Mooseheads really look forward to for leadership.
Real surprise in that replay to see that Lalaberty was the guy who threw the gloves off first.
Murovic with the
Murovic, yeah, that just missed that one in front. I was looking for Bartek, but I knew it wasn't him. At any rate, it's just been a night where Moncton have had a lot of bad bounces. Halifax have had a few good ones, but they've also had some deadly shots as well. We've got a battle in front. P.J. Lynch teeing up with number 44 on the other side. That's Carl McLean. Lynch with the helmet off, and so he pulls down. And, ooh, Lynch may have hit his head.
Lynch taking exception to a hit that McLean put on Robbie Sutherland in front of the goal, and I'm pretty sure that's why he dropped him. Good play by Lynch. You can't let your smaller players take hits. It was a clean check. But the two of them get wrapped up there, not really able to let any loose. PJ trying to get the right hand going, but McLean with a pretty good hold on him there, and they'll just wrestle around for a minute. Lynch is a pretty strong kid. We've seen him a couple times this year kind of throw his opponent to the ice. He gets McLean off balance here, and the two go back, and it is dangerous for Lynch. He's lucky that his head didn't crack on that ice. As
quality team in Hull. They weren't expected to win their division last year. They did, and they are the top team in the league coming into this game. Flynn is going to battle, and he is going against Mario Joly, and he's got his helmet on, and he is hitting him furiously, but Joly stays strong and gets a few back. Two players still going. Flynn, with that new haircut, will finish Joly off in the end, though. And it was quite a battle between these two players. Boy, is Ryan Flynn pumped after that. It looked like he had Joly beaten. Joly came back for a while there, but Flynn was able to finish him off in the end. But two very tough players.
Yeah, Flynn getting in early and late and often, but no excuse or no surprise that there's a big fight right after the Hull goal. Flynn trying to jumpstart his team again. He does a good job of it, knocking Joly's helmet off. Joly taking a lot of those in the back of the head. I thought Joly was finished, but right about here, after he takes a couple of the ear, he tries to get a couple back at Ryan. But Flynn with that reach, though, it's so hard to get at him. Now he's got the aerodynamic head there, the haircut. He's hard to hit, but a good fight for Ryan.
You know who he looks like? Mark Messier.
Well, he's got a good bite onto that mouth guard.
Mark Messier, folks.
A good punch to the back of the head of Joly there, knocked him down. And Flynn sporting the new do-brad, indeed.
Well, Messier.
All right, section 2, generators, section 2, you have an ECMA logo ticket.
is Ryan Flynn and number 29, Eric Tremblay. And Flynn looks to be having a good time down there. I guess you could call this the preliminary fight for tomorrow night's Holyfield Lewis bout.
That's right.
Tremblay getting on top of Flynn at the end there. Fairly even battle. And then I guess we see a little fight there. Tremblay fairly happy with that performance against the tough Flynn. Talk a little bit about Wednesday night. You were involved with the Eastlink broadcast of another night at the fights here in Halifax, something that Halifax hasn't had for years, but this year 3 good nights at the fights already.
That round 3 was a little bit reminiscent of this. A good crowd for that, as there is here tonight. Flynn quiet physically last night, going at it with Tremblay. He is 6'4", 230, so 117 penalty minutes on the season. He's a handful for Ryan, but Ryan, one of the better fighters in the league, of course. Sort of mauls him here with the left hand, I think, in a minute, but Flynn with those long arms so tough to get at. Maybe if you do fight him, it's best to get in close, but no real easy way to fight Ryan Flynn. And Tremblay, probably trying to get his teammates going a bit by taking on the big guy. Flynn looking even more menacing with that lack of hair up there with that buzz cut. You got to like that look, Brad.
And also, you can't pull his hair when you're in a fight, and that has happened with some of these guys. He's intimidated a few young players that just don't know how. And so quickly came out to center. That's how hard that shot was. Reed, nice move, wrap around. That had to go in, but it didn't. What a save by Jean-Philippe Charpentier. Make that Charpentier. And look at the battle after. What a beautiful move, though, by Reed.
I think everybody in the rink thought that one was in as Perriard and a Bidlock up behind the net. I haven't seen Ramsey fight this year as a member of the Mooseheads anyway. Ramsey, of course, so big and strong at 205 pounds. Just manhandling Perriard there, throwing him to the ice.
Bid still wanting to go. Nice move by a Bid. He was going left, and then he popped in the right hand. And quick to celebrate as well.
Well, no doubt Ramsey a bit missing last night's game. Happy to be back into it tonight. Last night serving game 2 of that suspension of his. And, of course, the suspension was for hitting his new teammate, Eric Dubois, who took his spot in the lineup last night. So, irony of all ironies. But the two doing a duel behind the goal there off to the move into the corner. We haven't seen a Bid fight too much. And Perriard, 6'1", 234 pounds, and a Bid threw him to the ice like he weighed 134 pounds. A good indication of how strong Ramsey a Bid is.
Of course, there couldn't have been really much damage on the Dubois hit. There's no way Mongrain would have traded for an injured player.
That's right. We'll take a look at it. Look at the save. Forgotten that is Chartier. He got that glove down. Everybody in the rink thought that was in except for Chartier. Just an incredible stop. Then the two mix it up behind the net. Chartier definitely the save of the game so far. It didn't really look like much was going to develop here. I didn't think so anyway, but they get locked up, and Ramsey standing in that stick, that's always a dangerous situation. 234 pounds is Perriard, so one of the heavier players in the league at 6'1". Ramsey, no weakling himself. Not really getting loose there until now. A couple to the side of the head.
You'll see it nice. He's going to go to the left hand, and I think that's what catches Perriard off guard.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then he's going to drop one right, and that right there, and that ended it.
Let's watch him throw him down here.
And it takes a lot of skill as a fighter to be able to flip from one hand to the other, and a Bid, of course, going with that left hand, which is so hard to...
Acrobat. Reed in front, backhand, another save, rebound, a Bid in tight, and he's knocked down, and he's not happy about it. He's going to fight for the second time tonight. The Dukes are flying here in the Metro Center.
Flynn and a Bid fighting at the same time. That's Flynn and Tremblay. They went in the first.
This is what you call a doubleheader. You got a fight going on behind the net. Ramsey a Bid, his jersey off. He's going wild. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's on top. He'll win the end of that fight. A Bid looked like he had the lower hand at the start, but he finished with the upper hand, and he is furious. A total game for him tonight. 3 goals, 2 fights. What a night for Ramsey a Bid.
Is that a Gordie Howe hat trick? I think so. What's that going on? He was fighting with the Bruno St. Jacques, so Ramsey came to play tonight, Brad, no question. He had to sit out last night. Things happening very quickly there. You knew something was going to take place because a Bid went hard, crashing into goaltender Ghislain Rousseau, and that is his calling card. A bid, such an aggressive player, both with the puck and without it, as number 29, Eric Tremblay, gesturing to the crowd a bit, and they boo him off the ice. The Tremblay, his second fight of the game. Well, look how it all works out. Brandon Reed stole the puck. A good play there by Ryan Flynn. Look at a bid. He knows that Rousseau's there. He goes head first right into him. Flynn cross-checking his mate to Tremblay, and they get right at it right away. They kind of get in tight. The bid fight sort of happening over to the left of your screen in the corner. Tremblay's a big guy. We don't see many people give Flynn that much trouble, although, you know, Flynn certainly wasn't in trouble in that fight, but a well-matched fight, no question, although neither really got loose in that one.
Well, remember, they went together in the first period, so this is kind of, they're trying to get the rematch, and both times, first time this year I've seen Flynn really held to a draw, and Tremblay, of course, a big boy.
Yeah, and you saw the linesman race away. Of course, he went over to take a look at the bid fight as the bid took on Bruno Saint-Jacques, and a bid with the decision in that, no question. So, 24 penalty minutes. So, really strong. I mean, 5 goals in 13 games is good for a forward, or 14 games, I should say, but he is contributing to both ends of the ice.
Gillis winning another face-off. And here we go, Jarrett. And it looks like 27, Grande. And it is Jarrett and Grande. Oh, Grande with a couple of good hits on Daryl Jarrett, but Jarrett is not willing to go down.
Might have to here in a minute.
Grande looking very strong, but now his helmet's off. And Jarrett is a very tough youngster, and he does not want to go down until he gets a couple of his own shots in here. Jarrett with a couple to Grande. Now Grande comes back. These two are going to have a little marathon. And now down they go. I would have to give the decision to Grande, although the crowd was rather enjoying the Jarrett takedown at the end. But Grande seemed to get a few more licks in.
He did. I think Grande stepped on a throat protector and actually went down. That's what happened. But Grande did well early, and I thought Jarrett did well to stay into that fight. Grande, well, over 100 penalty minutes this season, 106 for Julio Grande, and Jarrett no stranger to the box. But they just started to play Let's Dance, I guess, on the intercom, and they start the dance. We'll look at it. The intercom, I meant to say PA, but Jarrett is a tough kid, Brad. He takes a couple of good ones there from Grande. Right there to the side of the head. Right about here, I thought Jarrett was pretty much over with, done, but he hangs on. He kind of gets spun around here. Grande still giving it to him. Right there, another good shot. Grande getting off early and often in this fight, but to Jarrett's credit, stuck with it. And we'll get a lot of respect from his teammates. They banged the stick against the boards for his effort. You don't want to see a guy go down and hurdle, but Jarrett stuck with it. And right about here, he seems to turn the tables a little bit. He might get the right hand loose, but in the end, I believe Grande stepping on a throat protector, and Jarrett managed to fall on top of it. Long fight, Brad. We don't see too many that long over the course.
The Moosehead line contributed to the scoring tonight. And it's been a long time since the Mooseheads have had that kind of depth. I don't know if they've ever got a goal from all 4 lines.
Tyler Reed's going to fight.
Oh, my! Here we go. Paul Lavoie and Reed never really had a fight, but a heck of a wrestling match.
Tyler Reed coming out on top. You see the two measure each other up well before that fight got underway. We had a number of scraps here tonight. They're a little bit reluctant to let go. We'll take a look at it. They butt heads down behind the goal line. This is always amusing. Look at Lavoie. He's just kind of nonchalant. Yeah, you're going to get it, buddy. But as Brad says, not too many punches thrown here, but sort of a scoop slam from Tyler Reed. He tries to get one on early, and the two lock up. Lavoie leaning forward there. A good bit of power there from Tyler Reed. Brad just kind of overmatching his opponent, throwing into the ice.
I think the judges, pretty easy to count that. They both threw one punch. Neither of them landed, but Reed won a 1-2-3 count out by the wrestling judges.
Right. A tough night all around for the Drakkar. Of course, down 7 goals, and they haven't really done too well in any fights they've had this evening, so they'll probably...
Not the goalie tonight. but I think that's the way it'll be called.
Well, I'll say Brandon Reed. He's got 4 assists. He hasn't really been dominant tonight, but perhaps they'll just look at the scoring sheet. Not a bad game for Brandon. Another fight going.
Here we go. Gary Zink, he's tough. He's going up against Serge Crochetier. He was invisible as the Moosehead, but he's certainly trying to make his presence felt here in the Metro Center tonight, wearing the red, but not of the Moosehead, Baie-Comeau tonight. Zink, without the helmet, having the handicap right now, trying to reach over and get Crochetier's helmet off.
We've seen more fights tonight, Brad, than any time during this season at the Metro Center. Halifax faring pretty well throughout for the most part with the fight. Gary Zink, you alluded to it a few moments ago, said that he's a tough guy who will fight from time to time, and there's evidence of it right there.
The only thing that saved Serge Crochetier in that fight was that his helmet stayed on for the entire fight, and Zink threw the most punches, but he really couldn't score. He didn't have much of a target. Checking line for Halifax. Halifax caught offside. The puck trickling in. We could have a fight along the boards. Let's have a look. We may have 1 or 2 fights. The linesmen, McDonald and McMullen, get in there quickly and try and separate things.
That's Ettinger and Greeno along the boards.
2 of the heavyweights. Moncton going after Ettinger to provide some toughness that many felt Moncton didn't have. Well, with over 300 penalty minutes, Ettinger certainly filling that bill for the Wildcats.
Or in the big Edmonton draft choice, so strong as he does battle with Nick Greeno. A couple of good left hands there by Trevor as he puts Greeno to the ice. Really overpowering Nick Greeno, who's a very good fighter in his own right. All of this starting after the whistle. You see Greeno getting up high on Jarrett there, and Ettinger getting up high on Jarrett. Greeno coming in to help out. Gloves go off quickly, and those two do battle. But you're right, Brad. Ettinger lending some size and toughness to this Moncton lineup.
Ettinger with 349 penalty minutes coming into this game. But look at this. In Cape Breton, one of the lowest teams in the league, he was a plus 14. So when he was on the ice, Cape Breton wasn't losing. Unfortunately, Cape Breton didn't have the depth to go along with Ettinger, and they made
Drummondville Voltigeurs, and it's 4-1 for the Wildcats.
Well, there wasn't a lot of room above. We've got to fight Greeno going after, I believe, Bobby Reed, but I'm not yet. It's Bobby Reed.
Well, Greeno trying to give his team a spark late in the game. There's a good one there from Reed.
separated. Greeno, fought earlier in the game, will leave the ice. Bobby Reed, his first fight to stay in the penalty box.
And Bobby Reed, 153 penalty minutes in 49 games coming into today's game. And Greeno, 267 minutes, and it starts right off the face-off. Greeno with about 4 quick right hands. To give Reed credit, he stuck in there. Gave a couple of good shots to Greeno. Greeno was the better of the fight early, Brad, you'd have to say, but then Reed coming on strong in the end. Couple of heavyweights, you could say, especially Greeno. He gets into it a lot, but Bobby Reed shows that he can shift to the left hand as well. As we say, Greeno trying to get his team going, and the fans will cheer as he leaves the ice.
And the linesman wanted him back, but we knew all along he'd already fought in the game, and the second fight, of course. Benoit Douceblanc, Joe Grollo, now Flynn, backhand, from center, and possibly a battle from, we got Ettinger, and is that Flynn down there?
Yep.
Two tall hockey players, Flynn and Ettinger. Heavyweight going toe-to-toe.
If these guys can get separated, I'd like to see them go. Not often Flynn fights a guy who's that large. There aren't many guys that large in the league.
Carlisle Lewis and Ettinger used to go toe-to-toe frequently last year. This one will end early as a draw. As you mentioned, two of the tallest fighters, but Ettinger pretty happy with his performance in that one, Dan, and Flynn with that jersey over the eyes had a tough time seeing the target.
Well, both guys are strong as a bull, and I think if Ettinger can get his hands on you in that close, and he delivers a couple of good left hands there to Ryan Flynn. Flynn, of course, Not real good vision there with the jersey pulled up over the head, and that's see the strap.
Reed banks it off the glass. It'll get by Bergin. And that one went over the glass. Souvenir for one of the many fans. Near sellout here today, and we are going to have our first fight of the afternoon. David Hemsworth lining up against Hunter Lahack. Hemsworth, another walk-on who made this team. His helmet's off. Still swinging hard, though, against Hunter Lahack. Now both helmets are off. Get the final word, or the final punch anyway, on Hunter Lahack.
Hemsworth did a good job to hang on. Nothing more tiring than a long hockey fight. The fans certainly appreciate what he's done. He doesn't look too winded for his efforts. He got the left hand going there. Couldn't get the right one free, but hung on to Lahack, who was certainly game as well. Pretty good fight, and the fans really seem to enjoy it, as they often do.
Two 18-year-old players, but Hemsworth, the rookie.
Hemsworth's a big boy at 6'3", 200 pounds, a Halifax native. Lahack no slouch himself, 6'1", 216.
How about the large number of Nova Scotia and Maritime players currently on the roster of this Halifax team? Many people said that, you know, the Maritimes were lucky to have a dozen players in the Quebec League 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it just shows you the progress that's been made by local players, not only local, but across the Maritimes. As we see this little replay of this battle here, Hemsworth getting tied up a bit. Lahack got in early, but Hemsworth hung on and accounted well for himself.
5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. Loosehead penalty to number 18. Going Hemsworth, 5 minutes for fighting. Adverse penalty, 14 minutes and 23 seconds.
So, a couple of 5-minute majors handed out there.
Lahack with the 10-minute misconduct.
Loosehead penalty, Hemsworth, 5 minutes for fighting. At 14-23.
The phones along the boards to hear the action as well as see it. Benedict, nice pass in front, the shot. Stopped by St. Germain. Good hustle by the Halifax Mooseheads. Garrett with a shot. Perriard giving St. Germain a little help on that shift, and we've got a little pile-up after the whistle.
A lot of toughness out there right now on both teams. Perriard, Trammell, Garrett's out there. Flynn, Lehoux. We could have a Donnybrook here before it's all over, Brad. That's Flynn lined up with his blow. Who is that?
I think that's Trammell, or that's Trammell? Number 30, Guy Trammell, and Flynn are going the hardest out there. The helmets are off, and both fighters are getting some shots in.
Fans enjoying that right there, getting a good look at it. Oh, he looks like he almost, I want to say, bit down on a finger there, but two really in tight along the glass. I'd like to see that again. I didn't see a disappearing digit there, but it looked like there was a bite down on the finger of Ryan Flynn. Pretty close quarters there.
Yeah, I thought I saw that as well.
Maybe it was just more of a little love bite to get him to let go. I don't know. Flynn checking out his hand there. This is how it all ensues. A real crowd. Look at Jarrett with a great chance. And that was, I believe, St. Jacques slid across and made that save. And then all heck broke loose behind the net. But 6 tough guys in total out there. Trammell with well over, look, he grabs Flynn from behind there. He skated around the other side. He wanted a piece of Ryan. Certainly got what he wanted. There's 4 people in there. And Flynn finally gets loose on him. The 2 players pretty much pinned up against the boards. Flynn firing the helmet off of Trammell. Gloves and sticks and helmets flying. Here's a good look at it. Who said hockey's an easy game? Flynn with a couple of rams into the turnbuckle there. So Flynn doing the job, Brad, you want to do, pulling the jersey up over the head of Trammell. Trammell not happy with it. Let's watch right here. Watch Trammell right here now. He's got the mouth open. And yeah, little finger sandwich for Trammell. So I don't think he clamped down too hard, but he got the message across.
Kind of like a...
That's some good camera work. He had the mouth open. It looked like he was going to take a chunk of something before the finger got
Mike
here.
Tyson right here.
It looked like Flynn kind of pushed it into his mouth and down he clamped.
It may not be Mike Holyfield's here, but it's kind of like a Flynn